About a year ago, I was sitting in this very bedroom, thinking to myself, hey, I need to make a commentary. I need to make a video today. But there isn't really anything I want to talk about. Spectres Hockey had some interesting trade rumors, but I didn't really feel like talking about those. The NHL games were pretty interesting, but I didn't really feel like there was an angle I wanted to explore. So, on that day about 1 year ago, I made a video just talking about Elias Pettersson and how good he was, and how his goodness, his ability, his skills, how good he was at the game was something so different in this Vancouver Canucks team that ultimately it would lead to a bigger desire of free agents to want to come to the Canucks. So here I am today, 1 year later, on a nice rainy Tuesday afternoon, sitting here and thinking to myself, hey, I need to make a video, but I don't know what to talk about. Let's explore that same kind of topic, but instead of only talking about Elias Pettersson, let's talk about Quinn Hughes too. What is up, Real Watchers, Real Arcs? Back here, and this is a video talking about how Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes and the all-star skills competition and game ultimately combine into a package that makes the Vancouver Canucks so much more desirable to free agents than ever before. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, because I think that sentence that I just said is pretty easy to understand for most people, but if you're still in the realm of, okay, what the heck does that mean, then let's just go over what exactly I'm talking about here. This team, the Vancouver Canucks, today compared to 2 years ago, is a much more desirable free agency destination. And it's not just because we're better. It's not just because we're at the top of the Pacific. It's not just because we've taken 5 out of an available 6 points this season out of the Western leading Stanley Cup reigning champion St. Louis Blues. It's not just the fact that the team as a whole is performing better. It's also the fact that the Vancouver Canucks have players that make other players want to come here because, hey, they've got some really skilled guys. They have some really interesting guys. I want to be a part of the team that houses those guys. I made this video last year talking about how Elias Pettersson individually boosts the stock of the Vancouver Canucks in free agency. And now, a year later, Quinn Hughes is doing the exact same thing. And you could argue that the effect here is even heavier. Not just because we have a Quinn Hughes, but because we have a Quinn Hughes and an Elias Pettersson, 2 players who over the weekend absolutely shined. We talked about this the other day. Quinn Hughes, he came in last in the fastest skater. That's not all too great, but hey, the fact that he was in there, he still got like 14 seconds, still pretty good. Elias Pettersson, on the other hand, oh boy, this guy absolutely showed off. He just flexed on everybody out there in the hardest shot. He came in third, he beat out Hedman, he beat out Giordano, he beat out Seth Jones. He had 30 pounds on the next lightest guy in the competition. And Pettersson comes over here, rips a 102.4. On Sportsnet earlier yesterday, they showed a clip of the goaltenders on the bench, and it showed them reacting to Elias Pettersson's shot. And you could see it. Andrei Vasilevsky sees the 102.4. He quickly turns over to Connor Hellebuyck, who's beside him. Hellebuyck, he's kind of got that ooh look on his face. You could tell the guy's absolutely shocked. He just kind of looks at it, he stares at it, he's got that thing going in his head. What the heck, that young 170-pound kid just got 102.4 miles per hour? The Calgary Flames goaltender David Rittich was beside Connor Hellebuyck, and he was just absolutely baffled. He kind of leaned forward, he's like, what? Then he looked over to Jacob Markstrom, who was like, just smiling. Markstrom kind of looked over at Rittich and he was like, yeah, I told you, man. And Mark Scheifele, who was there too, just busted out the biggest whoa face of the entire video. So everybody was really surprised to see how hard this guy's shot was. Even I was. I'm probably like the biggest homer out there. And I was sitting on my couch in the living room just watching this. I already knew, okay, 101 is the score to beat. 101. Just beat that, Petey. Beat that, get into first place. Who cares what happens next? Petey went out there. When I saw the 102.4 pop up on my screen, I seriously screamed out like a little girl. And I'm not really super proud to admit that, but hey, I don't want to hide anything. I freaked out. Pettersson absolutely shocked the league with his slap shot. And we talked about this the other day too, how on Instagram, people were saying things like, okay, why is Pettersson in the hardest shot? The guy's a twig. Yeah, he's a twig, but he can still shoot the puck pretty fast, eh? You saw that right there? So, it's not just that. Because later on in the All-Star weekend, we saw the All-Star game where Pettersson and Hughes just absolutely put on a show. I didn't talk about this in any of the other videos, but Wayne Gretzky said that Quinn Hughes had better hands than Gretzky. So, yeah. Gretzky also said that Quinn Hughes' hands were similar to Mario Lemieux's. So, yeah. This all happened because Hughes pulled off the Forsberg move. He scored on Jordan Binnington, and Wayne Gretzky said, and I quote, "That young lad's a defenseman?" And everyone was like, oh my goodness, Wayne Gretzky's giving him praise. He's pretty good. So, taking a look at all these things that just happened over the weekend, taking a look at the performances we've seen from these two players in Vancouver, does this not build the Canucks up as a team that a lot of people can look at and say, yeah, if there's a big fish free agent out there and he's thinking about a team he wants to come over to, a team where the teammates can actually help him out, a team where the teammates are really interesting, really skilled, have a really nice dynamic about them, and just can absolutely play the puck well, Vancouver's the place to be, man. Not only are our players really skilled, our players are really good people too. Elias Pettersson's 102.4 mile/hour slap shot gave him the opportunity to donate $5,000 to the charity of his choice. He chose to split it 50-50, half to the Parkinson Society of BC and the other half to the Parkinson Research Association in Minnesota. If you didn't know why he did that, well, it's in honor of Duke Besser, Brock Besser's father, the guy who has been having his fair share of health struggles as of late, who does indeed suffer from Parkinson's, and Elias Pettersson donated the money to the cause in honor of him. If that doesn't tell the tale of just how good of a person Petey is, I don't know what will. Actually, hey, we're on the topic of Petey being a good person. Let's talk about how he helped his refugee friends get back into the country when he was 11. That was a crazy read, and I didn't want to talk about it in a video because it's such a big story that I feel like talking about it in a 10-minute commentary wouldn't do it justice, but Pettersson was a protester back when he was a preteen, protesting for the right for his best friends to come back after being deported from Sweden. I'll leave a link in the description to the incredibly detailed article about that story, but we can't go into that here. It's such a detailed, intricate little tale, and I wouldn't be doing it justice by talking about it here, so go down there in the description and read the article. But Quinn Hughes is also in that kind of same boat as well. Just a mature, humble guy who, even though he is humble, he's still extraordinarily confident, and he's not afraid to do things out there with the puck, as exhibited by his Forsberg goal. So I think taking a look at everything, from the skills competition to Pettersson blowing everybody's socks off with the shots, to the overall goodness that resides within these people, Vancouver is a free agent destination that I think a lot of people will start to consider a little bit more when talking about where these free agents would probably want to come to. Hey, we got a good city too. Sure, it smells like... Actually, you can fill in the blank what it smells like on a regular daily basis, but we're right by the waterfront. We've got mountains, we've got snow, we've got yoga pants, and we've got Uber and Lyft. So there's nothing bad about this city anymore, right? Right. Hope you enjoyed this funny little commentary, Social 99, and Bye.